How's it going everyone, it is Panjno here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys the ultimate FPS increase guide for Fortnite for 2021. In this video we're going to be focusing in on brand new features and optimizations in which you can set to reduce any micro stuttering you may be experiencing, increasing your overall FPS and allowing you to achieve the best gameplay experience possible for your PC regardless of your system specs. And as always, if you have enjoyed this video and you are happy with your results, please do remember to leave a like as it does help me out tremendously. And if you guys do enjoy this sort of content and wish to stay up to date with the channel, please also consider pressing that subscription button alongside the bell notification to be notified instantly whenever new content goes live on the channel. Before we jump into any optimizations, we're first of all going to be ensuring that we've set up a system restore point, helping you test and try out all of the optimizations we're about to set, or if you wish to revert everything in this video back, you can do so with a few clicks of a button. Navigate to the bottom left hand side, then simply type in restore. Click on create a restore point, navigate down to your local disk C drive, then click on configure. Ensure that turn on system protection is checked at the top, set the maximum usage to about 5%, then press apply, press OK. Then navigate down to create, we'll just simply call this one Fortnite, then click on create. And we can now safely and easily follow along with the rest of the video. So we're first of all going to be starting off with tackling the installation of Fortnite itself. We're first of all going to be booting inside of the Epic Games launcher. Navigate over to your library and find Fortnite. Simply navigate down to the Windows File Explorer icon, click on this once. With inside of here, navigate to the left hand side to this PC. We want to ensure that Fortnite is installed to an SSD on our system if possible. As of the most recent updates to Fortnite, running Fortnite on a hard drive is one of the most common cause issues for micro stuttering and major stuttering with inside of the game. Now, whether or not you're running on a brand new installation of Fortnite or you've had Fortnite installed for a while, you also want to navigate over to the three dots, navigate over to options. With inside of here, you want to make sure that the high resolution textures are actually unchecked. This comes installed by default with nearly every single Fortnite installation and will be taking up resources on your machine and also reducing your FPS. Uncheck this option, then click apply. Simply update the game, it will remove those excess files and you'll then be good to go. This now moves us on to the Windows operating system optimizations and tweaks. These are incredibly safe, easy and effective optimizations, and all of them should be followed precisely for the best results. Starting off by navigating to the bottom left hand side, typing in game space mode, then clicking on game mode settings. Ensure that the game mode is turned to the on position. We can then navigate down to the Xbox game bar, ensure that enable game bar is disabled, and last but not least, navigating down to captures, and if this is turned on, also disable captures with inside of the system. Once that's been completed, we can then go ahead and exit out of this tab. This now moves us on to the brand new EXE application fixes for 2021. This setting has been completely overhauled and now has to be set as per your system spec. To set the new setting, simply navigate to the bottom left hand side of your PC, select the File Explorer icon. With inside of here, navigate down to this PC, go to the top right hand side, go to search this PC, then type in Fortnite.exe, just like so, then press enter. This can take a while depending on the speed of the drives installed to your PC. Throughout the search, if any Fortnite applications show up with this Fortnite logo and it has the word Fortnite.exe with inside of it, right click on the file, then navigate down to open file location. With inside of here, scroll down until you find the Fortnite client Win64 shipping.exe, right click on this file, navigate down to properties. With inside of here, go to the compatibility tab. We're then going to be navigating down to disable full screen optimizations. Now this is going to be set differently depending on your system specs. For those of you running on medium end to ultra high end gaming PCs with the latest and greatest hardware out, I'd recommend actually leaving this option unchecked. And for those of you running on medium end systems all the way down to the ultra low end potato machines, I'd recommend having this option selected. Once the option has been set as per your system specs, navigate down to change high DPI settings, and for everybody watching this video, ensure that override high DPI scaling behavior has been selected, select OK, apply, and OK. We can then go ahead and exit out. We can then apply an extremely important optimization for all Windows users regardless of your system specs. For this, simply navigate down to your task bar, right click and open up Task Manager. With inside of here, we're then going to be navigating into the Startup tab. With inside of here, you're going to find all of the programs and applications which are set to boot automatically, taking up CPU cycles, resulting in worse FPS and slower boot times. For the most part, you want to have nearly every single application found with inside of here disabled. Now do be careful if you're not entirely sure what an application is. I would leave those applications alone. The main applications we're going to be disabling are things such as Spotify, Steam, Epic Games Launcher. We're then going to simply select the program we want to disable, then navigate to the bottom right hand side and select disable. I'm then going to be repeating this step for all of the programs on my system I know I don't need to have booted with the system. Once you're done with your system, go ahead and exit out. Moving on to an incredibly easy and important piece of system maintenance which should be repeated around about once every month or so. We're going to be navigating to the bottom left hand side, typing in %temp %, then pressing enter. Once inside of it, we're then going to simply highlight and select every single file and folder, right click, then select delete. What we're then going to go ahead and do is select do this for all current items and skip on any prompts that come up. In some cases you may still have some files left over like I do, and these are the only files Windows was actually using. Everything else was an excess caching file, dump file, just simply sitting on your system soaking up resources. We can then apply some optimizations to both your mouse and keyboard. For the mouse, simply navigate to the bottom left hand side, search for mouse space settings, then press enter. Navigate to the top right hand side to additional mouse options, navigate over to pointer options, ensure that enhanced pointer precision is unchecked. We're then going to drag the select a pointer speed slider all the way to the left hand side. What we're then going to do is we're going to be dragging this slider to speed 6 out of 11. So we're currently on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once that's set, press apply, then press OK. We can then repeat that step for the keyboard by navigating to the bottom left hand side, typing in the keyboard, then pressing enter again. We're then going to be navigating over to character repeat, ensuring that repeat delay and repeat rate are set to the fastest options available. Select apply, select OK. Moving on to Windows power plans. These are incredibly easy, simple and effective to set. Navigate to the bottom left hand side, click on the Windows button, type in power space plan, then click on edit power plan. With inside of it, go up to the power options bar at the top, navigate down to show additional power plans. For those of you that are running on laptops, whether that be low end laptops or gaming laptops, it is recommended to go with the balanced power plan for the best performance and power saving options available to you. For those of you running on desktop PCs, whether they be low end or ultra high end system spec, you want to be going with the default Windows high performance power plan for the best results possible. For those of you that use Discord, whether you have the program just running in the background or you do use Discord to talk to people whilst you play, you want to be setting the following optimizations. Once inside of Discord, navigate to the bottom left hand side to your username, then click on user settings. On the left hand side, we're going to proceed to scroll down until we find game settings, then go inside of overlay. Once inside of it, navigate up to the enable in-game overlay tab and make sure this is switched to the off position. Turning this off can improve FPS and responsiveness with inside of the game and help out with micro stuttering you may be experiencing. And this now moves us over to the intelligent standby list cleaner program, in which I recommend in practically every single one of my FPS boost videos. The ISLC program is an extremely easy to use 2-in-1 optimization tool. The program is completely free and easy to use and is linked in the description down below. Once you've clicked on the link of the program, simply scroll all the way down towards the bottom until you find the official download here section. The program will then be downloaded. Go ahead and click on the 3 dots, then select open. Navigate over to the right hand side to the 3 dots, select desktop, select OK, then select extract. Double click on the folder, then navigate inside the intelligent standby list cleaner ISLC program by double clicking. For the first box, you need to have this set to 1024. The second box then needs to be set to roughly half of your overall system memory. You can see your overall system memory in the top left hand side. As you can see, for me, I have 32,000 megabytes or 32 gigabytes. So roughly half of that is going to be 16,000. So half your number, then navigate over to the right hand side to wanted time resolution, set the value to 0.50, then use the delete key to remove the other values, check the box for enable custom time resolution, navigate down to ISLC polling rate, set this to 1000 for low to medium end systems, and from medium end to high end systems, set this to 500. Then select purge standby list, select start, minimize the program and run it in the background every single time you're playing the game to ensure that you have the best response time possible and the best FPS. We can now move on to optimizing Fortnite the game itself. Once inside of the launcher, navigate down to the settings button and proceed to scroll all the way down to the bottom, find the drop down menu for Fortnite and ensure that additional command line arguments are actually unchecked. Select the back button. We can then go ahead and boot into the game. Once you've booted into the game, navigate to the top right hand side to the 3 bars, then navigate with inside of the settings menu. To start off with windowed mode, we're going to be setting this to full screen. Regardless of your specs or personal preference, full screen will provide you with the best FPS and more importantly, the lowest input latency possible. It is recommended to set the native resolution for your monitor in which you're using. In my case, that's going to be 2560 by 1440. I used to recommend setting this to unlimited, and in most cases, if you've got an extremely high amount of FPS and you're playing on extremely low settings, unlimited can still wield fantastic results. But for those of you that do experience very common micro stuttering issues with inside of the game, it is actually recommended to set your frame rate limit to match your monitor's refresh rate. So if you have a 240Hz monitor, cap your FPS to 240. If you have less than a 120Hz monitor, I would just go ahead and recommend setting this to unlimited anyway. We're then going to be navigating down to our graphics quality tab. On the right hand side of the screen now, you'll be seeing some recommended resolution scaling options, which you should try out depending on your system specs and your desired amount of FPS. We're then going to be changing our view distance. If you do experience micro stuttering with inside of the game, it is recommended to actually go ahead and set your view distance to far. If you have your view distance set to near or medium, you will more frequently be rendering in brand new objects every single time you take a few steps within inside of the map. As your view distance is so low, it constantly has to render in objects in the distance. Shadows, for the best FPS possible, we're going to be switching to the off position, but if you don't like how the game looks, set shadows to medium and no higher. Anti-aliasing is also going to be set to either off or medium. Texture quality is either going to be set to low or medium. As we actually removed the high quality textures from our installation earlier on, there is no point in going higher than medium, so either go with low or medium. Effects are going to be switched all the way down to low for the best FPS possible, and post-processing is also going to be set down to low. VSync is going to be disabled in nearly every single use case. Motion blur is also going to be switched off for every single person watching this video. I like to have show FPS turned to the on position. This then brings us down to rendering mode, and this is going to be the final setting we're going to change after all the optimizations are set for this video. Allow multi-threaded rendering is going to be enabled. Use GPU crash debugging is going to be disabled. Latency markers is going to be turned to the off position. If you do have Nvidia Reflex low latency available on your system, my recommendation is going to be having this set to on plus boost for every single person watching this video. If you do find that you have micro stuttering or performance issues from using this setting, back it off and just turn it back to on. Latency flash is going to be switched to off, and if you do have DLSS available to you, you should definitely be using this with inside of Fortnite to improve your performance. The lower you have this option set, typically the better the performance you're going to be seeing with inside of the game, but with less visual quality. I'm going to be going with balanced for my system. Moving down to ray tracing, this is recommended to have switched off for every single person watching this video. We now need to go ahead and apply some quick and easy edits to the config file themselves to further boost performance and reduce latency with inside of the game. Navigate to the bottom left hand side, select the Windows button, type in %appdata %, then press enter. Click where it says app data, then navigate down to local. Scroll down to the F section and we're going to be looking for Fortnite game. With inside of here, go into saved, config, Windows client, then double click on the game user settings.ini. You want to proceed to scroll all the way down to the middle section where you'll be finding scalability groups. Now your numbers are more than likely going to be set up differently to mine, but the main ones we're going to be looking to change are going to be your shading quality, change whatever number this says for you to 0, your foliage quality to 0, post-processing quality to 0. Once you've made that change, navigate to the top left hand side, select File, then select Save. Now that the game has been successfully set up, we can now move over to GPU or graphics card optimizations to ensure that you're getting the lowest level of input latency and the best FPS possible. Setting up your GPU driver correctly, removing any of the excess bloat that may be installed with it, and ensuring that you have all of the settings dialed in correctly is vital to ensure that you're getting the best performance possible, and this should not be overlooked. Now before we go ahead and just simply update the driver on our system, we're actually going to be creating a custom driver installation to remove all of the excess bloat from the driver, which can drastically improve performance. To see which GPU you have installed to your system, navigate down to your task bar and open up Task Manager. Navigate over to the Performance tab, scroll all the way down to the bottom on the left hand side, you'll then see GPU 0. Find the name of the GPU, this will then tell you if you're running on an AMD Radeon card or an Nvidia GeForce card. With that information, navigate inside of the description down below. For those of you with an Nvidia graphics card, navigate down to the manual driver search, go to the product series and follow all of the on-screen prompts to find your GPU. Then right at the top, find the latest GeForce Game Ready driver available, select Get Download, find the driver inside of your downloads folder and drag this over to your desktop. For those of you running on an AMD Radeon graphics card, proceed to scroll down to the bottom to the manual driver search, select Graphics, then select the series of GPU, 6700 series, 6700 XT, then click on Submit. Go inside of the operating system version you're using, find the latest available driver at the top, then select Download. For those of you updating your GPU drivers for an AMD Radeon based GPU, it is recommended you just simply open up the driver in which you just downloaded and follow all of the on-screen prompts and simply install the driver in which we just downloaded as you normally would. For those of you on an Nvidia based graphics card, this is where things get interesting. To debloat the driver, you'll first of all need a tool to do so. For this, we're going to be using the NV Slimmer tool, which is linked in the description down below. Navigate over to the Download Now button. Once the tool has downloaded, simply go ahead and double click on the tool. We're then going to be doing is creating another folder on the desktop, and we can just simply call this NVS. Go ahead and highlight all of the files with inside of it, then drag them to the folder on your desktop. Once that's been done, go ahead inside of the folder on your desktop, then open up the NV Slimmer tool, just like so. Go over to More Info, then select Run Anyway. With inside of it, you'll then need to open up the driver package in which we downloaded. For us, we installed it to our desktop. Click on the driver you downloaded, then select Open. You'll then be given all of the options which you can check and uncheck to debloat debloat the driver. Now, depending on how many Nvidia features you use is going to depend on how far you're going to be debloating the driver. So if you do not find yourself using the Nvidia GeForce Experience or Nvidia Shadowplay or any of the instant replay features, it is recommended not to install them unless you use them. In my use case, I do use the Nvidia GeForce Experience and then also going to be selecting Shadowplay. If you are installing the Nvidia GeForce Experience like myself, you also need to ensure that the Nvidia backend is also selected. For those of you running on a laptop that have a dedicated Nvidia GPU, you want to ensure that Optimus support has been selected. If you're using your graphics card HDMI cable to transport audio to your monitor or TV, you also want to ensure that HD audio has been selected. Navigate down to the bottom left hand side, then select apply. What we're then going to go ahead and do is select yes. Once you've selected yes, this will then prompt you if you wish to install the driver. What we're actually going to be doing is selecting no to this. We're then going to go to the bottom right hand side, then select repackage. We're going to select desktop once again. Once the program is finished repacking your brand new driver, you'll then notice that you now have a new driver available on your desktop. Before we go ahead and install anything, we're first of all going to be exiting out of the NV Slimmer tool. Before we do this, you need to navigate inside of the description down below and find the link for the display driver uninstaller utility. The reason we need to use this program is now that we're going to be installing our custom repackaged debloated driver, we actually need to perform a 100% clean installation of that driver with no excess data left over from the previous drivers. Once inside of this page, proceed to scroll down to the official download link here. Go ahead and simply open up the file once it's done downloading. Click on the three dots, select desktop, select OK. Once again, you'll be met with a folder on your desktop with an identical name. Now, to use this program, you actually need to boot Windows into safe mode. This is very simple and easy to do. Simply go ahead and navigate down to the bottom left hand side, click on your Windows button. You then need to find and hold Shift on your keyboard. With Shift still held down, you need to right click on the power button, then go ahead and select Restart. Continue to hold Shift on your keyboard. You can then go ahead and let go of Shift once you find this option appears. With inside of here, we're going to navigate down to Troubleshoot, Advanced Options, Startup Settings. We're then going to go ahead to the bottom right hand side, then select Restart. When your PC boots back up, you'll then be brought to the Startup Settings page. We're going to be using mode number 4, which is Enable Safe Mode. So navigate over to your keyboard, then press the number 4 key. This will then boot you into Windows Safe Mode. Once you've booted to the desktop, navigate over to the DDU folder once again, right click on Display Driver Uninstaller.exe and run this as an administrator. If any prompts do come up when you've opened up the program, simply press OK and close out of any of the prompts. We first of all need to navigate over to the right hand side where we're going to select a device type. With inside of it, we're then going to be selecting a GPU. Following on from there, you then need to go to the drop down underneath this, where you'll be able to select whether this is an Intel based GPU, Nvidia based, or an AMD Radeon based GPU. So for me, that's going to be an Nvidia GPU. We can then navigate over to the top left hand side where you'll have 3 options. For this video and for this purpose, we're going to be using the top left option titled Clean and Restart. This will perform all of the driver clean, remove all of the old files, and reboot into Windows normally, where you can then go ahead and install your driver. Once the program has finished uninstalling the current display driver and has restarted, you've logged back into Windows onto the desktop. You then want to go ahead and double click on the custom Nvidia driver in which we compiled earlier on. This will then begin to extract. With inside of here, make sure to keep the pre-selected options all selected, as we don't want to fine tune any further settings, as this could cause the driver to bug, and then install the driver. It is also worthwhile noting that your screen may flicker, your resolution may change and look strange whilst the driver is being installed. This is completely normal behavior and it will be completed once the driver has been successfully installed. This now moves us on to setting up the GPU driver for the best settings possible. This is going to be for both AMD and Nvidia users. Starting off with Nvidia users, right click on your desktop, then open up inside of the Nvidia control panel. Start off by navigating to the top left hand side to adjust image settings with preview, then select the middle option titled Use the Advanced 3D Image Settings. Select this, then select Apply. Then navigate over to the left hand side, this time going to Manage 3D Settings. With inside of here, there are only going to be a few options we're going to be changing, but they are vital to ensure that we're getting the best performance possible. With inside of here, start off by going down to low latency mode and setting this to on. It's also recommended to ensure that image sharpening is actually set to off. Sometimes this can be set to Nvidia preference, so set this to off manually and ensure that GPU scaling is unchecked. We're then going to be looking for power management mode. Navigate over to the right hand side and ensure this is set to prefer maximum performance. Now, depending on your system, this can have varied results. Some systems won't see any benefit from using this whatsoever, but no matter what system you're on, you will not be seeing a negative impact from this setting, so it's always recommended to have it set to on. You can then go down to preferred refresh rate. I like having this set to maximum available. And last but not least, navigating down to the most important setting with inside of it to texture filtering quality and ensuring that you set this this to high performance. Once that's all been set up, we can then go to the bottom right hand side, select apply. Last but not least, we can then navigate over to the left hand side to adjust desktop size and position, and ensure that you have no scaling set with inside of the scaling mode. Now do bear in mind, if you are using a custom resolution or stretched resolution, this will stop that resolution from displaying correctly. This is only really recommended for those of you that are running on a native resolution to your monitor, and if you are, it is always recommended to have no scaling set on all of your monitors if you are using native resolutions. Now for those of you that are running on AMD Radeon based graphics cards. For this you need to navigate to the bottom left hand side of your PC, the start button, this time type in reg edit just like so. Then go ahead and press enter. With inside of here, navigate to the top left hand side, select computer, then navigate up to the top left hand side once again, select edit, then navigate down to find. With inside of the find what text box, you want to input ULPS, which stands for ultra low power state. Once that's typed in, select find next. If for some reason this search does not find any results with inside of your PC, don't panic, you can simply skip out this step. The enable ULPS key has been highlighted. Double click on this key, navigate over to the value data and ensure the value data is set to 0. Select OK, then we can go ahead and exit out. That will help remove the ultra low power state with inside of the Radeon graphics driver, which can have issues kicking in unnecessarily, causing major FPS lags. Once that optimization has been applied, we can then go ahead to the desktop, right click, then open up inside of the AMD Radeon software panel. With inside of here, we can start off by going to the top left hand side to gaming, then clicking global graphics. Starting off with inside of here, we're going to be turning off AMD Radeon anti-lag. I used to recommend this option, but with the latest hardware, driver updates and game updates, Radeon anti-lag actually causes more issues than it solves in many cases and can be the sole cause of your micro stuttering issues. Radeon chill is also going to be switched to the off position. Radeon boost is also going to be switched off. Radeon image sharpening can be turned on if you do like using this option, but do bear in mind that you will take about a 5% FPS decrease from using this. Radeon enhanced sync is also going to be switched to the off position to improve input latency. Wait for vertical refresh is going to be selected to off, this time navigating down to the advanced tab. Frame rate target control is going to be set to disabled. We can then scroll down to the option for texture filtering quality. Go to the drop down menu and set this to performance. Now that we've successfully completed all of the optimizations inside of this video and everything is good to go, there is one last final step. As mentioned earlier on, whilst we're going through our in-game settings, the only thing we now have to set correctly for our system specs is going to be the rendering API we're using with inside of Fortnite, whether that's going to be DirectX 11, 12, or even the performance API. So simply go ahead and boot into your game, navigate up to the 3 bars, navigate into settings, then finally proceed to scroll all the way down to the bottom where you'll find rendering mode. Now for every single person watching this video, it's recommended to try out and test all 3 rendering APIs to see which works best on your system now that the system has been successfully optimized. Unfortunately, there is not a one size fits all option with inside of here. This really does depend on your system specs and how your system behaves with the rendering APIs. So it's first of all recommended to go ahead and set this to DirectX 11, select apply. Then what it's recommended to do is to simply run a quick experiment, boot into the game where you would typically play, whether it be solos, squads, or even the arena mode, and play for a few minutes. What I then want you to go ahead and do is to simply go back inside of the settings menu, scroll all the way down, and this time turn it over to DirectX 12. Restart your game, restart the experiment, play again, and take note of your overall FPS and also if you're experiencing micro stuttering. One API might be giving you a better frame rate, but you might experience that you're having micro stuttering or major lag spikes on that API. So you want to find which API works best in your system. You're then going to finally repeat that step inside of the performance API until you've decided which API works best on your system. After you've tried all 3 rendering APIs, if you're still experiencing issues on all 3 of them or you're not happy with the performance, there is a secret 4th rendering API in which we can enable. To try this out, simply navigate all the way down to the bottom, ensure that the performance API has been selected, then apply this. Close out of the game and go back to your desktop. Navigate to the bottom left hand side and type in %appdata%, then press enter. With inside of here, navigate into the navigation bar at the top to app data, click on local, find Fortnite game, saved, config, Windows client, then you'll find game user settings.ini. Double click on this. We're then going to proceed to scroll all the way down to the bottom. What you're looking for is be used D3D12 in game. You want to change this from false, change it to true, go to the top left hand side, select save, exit out. What we then need to go ahead and do is actually set this file to read only. This will force the game to boot up correctly whilst using DirectX 12 on the performance API. So for this, right click on the file, navigate down to properties, go down to attributes, check read only, then select apply. Now do bear in mind, whilst read only has been selected, any in-game settings you change in the future will automatically be reset every single time you boot the game. To stop this from happening, you'll have to come back with inside of this file and uncheck read only, so all of the in-game settings changes you make in the future can be saved to this file. But for now, assuming we're going to be forcing this API, select read only, apply, and OK. We can then go ahead and exit out, boot back into Fortnite, and you'll then see that the rendering API is now using DirectX 12, performance mode. And there you guys have it. That is my ultimate FPS increase guide for Fortnite for 2021. If you guys have enjoyed this video and are happy with your results, please do remember to leave a like on the video, as it does help me out tremendously. And if you guys do enjoy this sort of content and wish to stay up to date with the channel, please do consider pressing that subscription button alongside the bell notification to be notified instantly whenever a new video goes live on the channel. Thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch this video. I'm Panjno, and I'll see you in the next one.